Good night and welcome to Final Score. I'm Shane Seeley. It's good to be back. It's our weekly sports show where we'll talk about all of the headlines and newsmakers in the week of sports. And tonight, well, it's an all-cricket lineup. Cricket is in the air. First, the Barbados Pride currently in action in the CG United Super 50 Cup. They're against the West Indies Academy in Antigua, and they must win this match. It's a must-win fixture for them after only registering just one win so far. Also, the T20 World Cup is at the final stage. Pakistan and England, they booked their places to do battle in Sunday's finale. But first, to the Barbados Pride. Well, they have lost to Jamaica Scorpions twice, a no result with the Leeward Island Hurricanes, and a lone win against the Academy. So just let's put the picture in perspective for you. Before tonight's ongoing fixture against the West Indies Academy, the Pride had a below 500 record of 1 win, 2 losses, and a no result, with both losses coming against the same team, the Jamaica Scorpions. Their lone victory came against the Academy, the team that they're currently in a position to beat yet again. The Pride scored 279. Ago were 147 for 5 of 33.1 overs, so the prospects are looking good for the Pride. No matter the result, the Pride will still be in third position in the zone, with only the top 2 teams advancing to the playoffs. The Leeward Island Hurricanes, well, they're on 14 points, and the Scorpions are on 10 points after the Scorpions gave the Hurricanes their first defeat today. If the Pride win tonight, they'll go to 10 points, 4 behind the Leeward Island Hurricanes, with 1 match still to play against the same Hurricanes. So we'll see what happens there. Now, joining me live to look at the pros, the cons, the positives, the negatives of the Pride's performance to date is Barbados all-rounder Kevin Stout. He's also a former Barbados captain in both the 4-day and 50-over format. Of course, you, our viewers, can make your contributions and answer questions via social media. The WhatsApp number is 228-5562, while on Facebook, the handles are CBC Barbados or cbcnews.bb. You can also call live. 228-5562 is the number. So let's get Kevin now and get some perspective from him on the Pride's performance today. Kevin, good to have you on.
Thank you very much, Shane. Thank you guys for having me.
Appreciate your time. So talk to us, looking at what you've seen so far from the Pride in this 50-over tournament. What do you think about their performance today?
Well, the performance up to today, I think that the Barbados team has been struggling a bit to get the right 11 on the field to play in the 50-over format, because even from last year, they had also struggled in the 50-over competition in Antigua as well. So I think it's something that we have to pay very close attention to when it comes to selecting our 50-over team. I think we make a few errors here or there with some selections, but hopefully the selectors moving on will be able to work on that and fix that problem for Barbados cricket, and let's get Barbados cricket back on its winning ways again, especially in the 50-over competition.
All right, let's talk about that selection, because we had Craig Brathwaite in the team, also Roston Chase. Of course, they had to leave on West Indies duty, and in comes the former West Indies keeper in Shane Dowrich, and also Kyle Hope. And I want to start with Kyle, because I think that was the surprising pick. Some thought they would have gone with Shane Mosley in terms of his performance on the local scene, but the selectors said that they're picking Kyle because he is more suited to playing spin. What was your thought on the selection of Kyle Hope? He proved okay tonight. He made a half century, 69, but off 90-odd balls, which is not really ideal either for the 50-over format, but still a good score. What are your thoughts on that selection there? Let's deal with Kyle.
But you know what, funny enough, when it comes to Barbados cricket, much things don't surprise me at this present moment, because I don't think we have the consistency on how we go about selecting teams sometimes could be very puzzling to me, from being around and obviously experiencing it firsthand. Sometimes the stories you get about selection of other players don't really be adding up, but in this case, when you hear Calhoun is a very dominant player, did really well over the years in local cricket and also when he went and represented Trinidad. But obviously, just as how I heard some other people saying that they were shocked to hear that he was selected in this side, there's no doubt that Carl has the potential and talent to do well at the level. But I think that if a guy is supposed to be selected, there should be some type of criteria for that player to go through to be eligible to be selected for his country.
So would you have gone with Shane Mosley over Kyle in this instance?
But after they had
With Mosley, sir.
the Legends Cup, they
Mm-hmm.
had the Legends Cup, and Shane did really well in the Legends Cup, and he's also doing well for his club, Wonders. And I think a few weeks ago, I think he got 100, and it shows that he's in form and he's doing well. And I think if a player is invited to trials and perform at trials, he obviously deserves that opportunity to go and represent his country. So going with Shane Mosley would be a very good move because he's the current player in form, and we all know that he was obviously occupied playing cricket for his club and also playing in the Legends Cup tournament and doing well. So Shane Mosley, for me, if I was in that position as a selector, would have been my straightforward selection to replace Craig Buffett when he leaves to go off to Australia.
And what about Dow? What about Dowrich?
Well, at the end of the day, Dulwich is Barbados and West Indies wicketkeeper batsman, and for me, I think that Dulwich, we need to find a way how we can get Shane Dulwich back around the West Indies setup again because he does hold a lot of value to the West Indies team, and we just have to work it out, like what role we're gonna have for Shane to play in the Barbados team because he plays a very big role in the team, and at this current situation, but at this current point, we don't seem to have the right role in place for him because the moment he's batting at one number, next minute he's batting at another number, and I think Shane is too good of a player to have that kind of roller coaster ride in the Barbados team at this present moment.
And he
So
doesn't
I
have the
think we
glove,
need to
gloves
strategize
either.
properly.
He doesn't have the
Pardon?
gloves. He doesn't have the gloves either.
Well, but if you have the West Indies one day wicketkeeper in the team, more than likely he will get the nod to obviously keep in the games because he does it internationally. My problem is not the keeping. My problem is finding a fixed position for Shane to bat in the 11.
All right, so we got more issues to talk about as we get some insight from you, of course, Kevin, on the Pride's chances going forward. And of course, we'll talk about the T20 World Cup a bit later on. So we'll talk a bit more about those issues facing the Pride right after the break.
No problem.
Welcome back to Final Score as we talk about regional cricket with former Barbados captain in the 50-over format and in the 4-day format as well, Kevin Stout, getting some perspective from him. Kevin, I mean, when we look at the Barbados team and how they've been going about their cricket in this tournament, is it fair to say that Barbados' 50-over setup or white ball setup in this format is a bit weak? It looks weak on the field. And then, of course, we could talk a bit about the captaincy as well, but talk about our performances generally in this 50-over format. We know that West Indies cricket in this format is not at its best, far from its best right now. But talk about Barbados' construct in this 50-over format. What are your thoughts?
This Barbados side, I mean, the batting for me really stood out. I thought that they had more than enough capable batsmen in the side to go out there and get some runs and pile on some runs on the scorecard for the bowlers, which is for me a lot inexperienced because we are missing a lot of our senior players in this Barbados lineup. And with the bowling attack, I just thought I had lacked a bit of experience, and to be honest, it's going to be very difficult, especially if our spinners, Joma Ward, can obviously be one of the leading bowlers for the team. If he doesn't come up trumps and getting wickets consistently for the team, I think we're going to struggle. With our opening bowling, I honestly can't really tell what is really the plans that our bowlers are trying to use to try to restrict players from the other team, the opposition, from scoring quickly, and how are we going to get wickets. My thing is, cricket is a funny game, and if we don't have a proper plan, a spelling plan to bowl at opposition, especially with I wouldn't say weak, but inexperienced bowling attack, we are always going to find ourselves under pressure. And I think that's what's happening at the present moment.
I think we did see that in the Jamaica game when Rovman took away the game from us in the latter stages. We were in the driver's seat at some points in those games. And even when we took our turn with the bat, Shea Hope, the captain, Roston, giving us a good start but unable to finish it off. And you said the batting is our strong point. What happened in that game, these two games versus the Jamaica Scorpions, where you think that we fell short?
I just thought that we lost wickets at some very crucial times. We needed to build some more partnerships. But what happened in that game, whenever we were seemed to be on track, we would have lost a wicket. And losing a wicket, especially playing in Antigua and playing over a long period of time, as the pitches get older, it becomes a lot harder to score. So the main component on doing well on those kind of pitches are to build as much partnerships as possible, and one of the batsmen who are set needs to bat right through the innings and win the game. And also saying that, I would also say this: I think in order to improve West Indies cricket and cricket in the Caribbean, we have to start paying a lot more attention to the surfaces we play on. Because in comparison to the other teams around the world, when you watch cricket and the circuit, the 40-over blast, the big bashes in Australia, I think those guys get surfaces that are just as good as in Test cricket pitches. And we don't have the privilege of getting that in the Caribbean. And I think that is one of the main aspects of why West Indies cricket isn't doing that well, because when we go over to places like Australia and New Zealand, where the pitches are a lot quicker and you're getting a lot more bounce to compare to the pitches being a lot more slower and lower in the Caribbean, we always tend to struggle. And I think we need to pay very, very close attention to the surfaces we play on, because if you continue to play on a surface that's low and not bouncing, you will become very good on those decks until you really meet your match and head over to pitches that are the ball is rising up to your head and seaming all over the place, and then it makes guys who you think looks really well in the Caribbean, where they go on those pitches, you sit down and ask yourself, are these the same guys that we saw playing a couple of weeks ago? And that is a very, very important thing in the Caribbean. I don't think a lot of the team, not only first class, but even locally, I
Right.
don't think a lot of the local cricket, I don't think people are paying attention on the surfaces that they're playing, that we are playing on, because the core of West Indies cricket starts from club cricket. And if you have club cricket with pitches that are poor, how would it improve a player who's looking to play for Barbados? Maybe you might have one or two fellas who do very well in the season, but then when you move from playing club cricket into playing for Barbados, you see a big difference in the consistency and the bowling of opposition, and then also with the pitches. When you go on to play international cricket, then there's a big gap between the way how our players play to compare to those guys who are accustomed playing on pitches that the ball is bouncing and seaming a lot more.
Yeah, and playing a bit more true. You were the
Right.
captain of a winning 50 over side in the regional setup. What is the
Yes,
difference you
please.
would say between your side, which you captained then, and this side that Shea Hope is captaining now?
I said the difference. I had a lot of experience. I had guys like Dwayne Smith, Solomon Ben, Fidel Edwards, Tino Best. I had a star-studded team. The most difficult part for me as captain of that side, and not only being captain but captaining guys that who played for West Indies, because I had never represented West Indies at the senior level. I only played for the West Indies A team, and to try to control all these different egos as a captain, as a man that never played international cricket, that was the most difficult part for me, captaining those guys. But when it came down to going on the field and playing and executing the team plans, everything was like picture perfect. We didn't even lose a game. We went through that tournament unbeaten, actually.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's not the picture now, but we hope that the fortunes will change somehow, that they get into the playoff round. I think we have a call on the line. Let's go to the phone lines very quickly. Good night, caller. Welcome to Final Score. What's your question or comment?
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I saw someone message that Carter needs to be demoted. In my opinion, I think Carter needs to be dropped because a guy with so much experience, he needs to be dominating at this level and use his experience to help guide the lesser experienced guys. Because for me, senior players have to be able to motivate the youngsters into doing well. So Carter
Right.
needs to be dropped from Barbados side.
Kevin, your thoughts on that? Because, I mean, Carter was even around the West Indies setup as well at one point.
Cole, I can address this question because I think if my memory serves me correctly, the last 50 over tournament, Jonathan was the leading run scorer for Barbados, and not only in the tournament but overall, Jonathan Carter is Barbados' best 50 over batsman that we would have ever produced runs wise. And to say to drop him, it will be very harsh because at the end of the day, cricket is a sport that you fail more times than you perform. And right now, maybe Jonathan is at that stage that he's struggling a bit for some form. But I don't think that you should disregard him because he hasn't scored any runs as yet in the tournament. I mean, at the end of the day, when you have your senior players and your players who for you, I think there's a level of respect that's needed for a guy like Jonathan. And in this case, even if he doesn't score any runs for this whole tournament, I think he would have done so much for Barbados over the seasons he would have played that I know at some point in time, Jonathan will always bounce back and come back again because as you rightfully said, he has a lot of experience. But having a lot of experience, look at Virat Kohli for example. Virat Kohli was failing for almost 2 years for India. And India had refused to drop him from the side. He came back to the World Cup this year and he's been doing very well. So sometimes we got to put the passion sometimes to aside and look at the cricket as not only what is happening now, but what have the individual have done for the country over a period of time.
Indeed. All right, so we'll take a quick break here. When we come back, we still got to talk about the T20 World Cup. We will pick a winner. And we'll talk a bit about what Kevin is doing in cricket as well as we go down under, and we'll get a little mention of the test side as well. All of that still to come right here on Final Score. We'll be back in a few. So we're dealing all cricket tonight, so let's go down under to Australia. So Pakistan, well, they had a wonderful win there in their semi-final match over New Zealand. It was a surprise for some, but Pakistan is a very strong side. They eased in, compliment South Africa losing to the Netherlands. Meanwhile, England destroyed India. At the top, Alex Hales, congrats to him after being on a real hiatus. England forced hiatus for 3 years, getting back into the setup and coming good in the semi-finals, taking England into the finals. So it's England versus Pakistan. Your thoughts on the two sides, Pakistan, England? What do you like about their brand of cricket? Talk to me about what are you seeing, Kevin?
What I like about the brand, especially with the England cricket team, I was watching the series before the World Cup when when England and Pakistan played in a series before heading off to the World Cup.
Yeah, they had
And
70, 20 matches.
And what I had noticed, the kind of structure that the England team had for their squad, the first 5 or 6 batsmen strike rate was over 100, and I thought that was incredible. Because if you could have 6 players that's striking over 150 runs, I mean, more than likely 90% of the time when you go to play or go to bat, you have a target over, you're looking at 170, 180 each and every time you play. I mean, it doesn't happen that way all the time, but when you go by the records and stats, more than likely 90% of the times, teams like England with a squad like that will usually get up to 170 and 180 runs easily. So looking at their squad, it's clear to see that they're coming with, one, the batting experience, the aggressive playing, the aggressive running, the aggressive stroke play, and then to top it off, their fast bowling department. I mean, with Mark Wood in the side, the guy who's bowling at 92 and 93 miles per hour, that kind of pace, I mean, could be very scary at times.
Especially on those Australian wickets. Yeah,
he's going to be a handful.
But he's coming up against 2 good informed batsmen at the top for Pakistan in Mohammad Rizwan and, of course, Babar Azam. And the middle order is not too bad either.
But you're correct, Shane, because when you look at the Pakistan side with the batting, it just takes one of those guys out of the 2 to bat through the innings, and when they do that, you always see Pakistan post a total that you can reckon with. I mean, sometimes it's not always the 200 runs or the 190, but with Pakistan bowling lineup, in comparison to England, Pakistan are full of a lot of skilled bowlers and bowlers that who execute bowling those Yorkers well, especially coming into the end. So for me, a team like England, if they're playing against Pakistan, I wouldn't allow them to score too many runs, especially if I have to bowl first at them.
Especially in that power play. So pick a winner. Who do you have to lift the ICC trophy come Sunday? Pick a winner, Kevin.
I want to say England, but my gut feeling is just telling me Pakistan. So I go with Pakistan.
You'll go with Pakistan. I'll go with England because, as most people that know me know, I kind of bat England sometimes. I don't like their rhetoric sometimes, but I like how the team is set up. I do like how the team is set up. Talk about your cricket now before we go. You've been doing your own thing still. You're still playing cricket, and a lot of it in the US. What's happening there?
Yes, I've been playing cricket. I played this entire summer in the US. The experience playing in the US is very different. They usually play on a lot of matting surfaces, and coming from turf over to matting, it was a little different because the pace of the ball on the wicket is totally different.
And this is
But
professional
the experience
cricket.
alone was good. Yeah, it's some I must say professional cricket, but well organized cricket where you can go and definitely still make a living for yourself as well over there. And the market for the cricket in the US is going up and up every single year. Right now they're working on a major league cricket tournament in the US where I understand that a lot of big dollars is going to be paid out in that tournament as well. And there's also the minor league competition where I have represented a team in that competition also. And the opportunities over there is becoming great because you're seeing a lot of players coming over from India and Sri Lanka and Pakistan as well, who are even migrating to the US to play that brand of cricket.
All right,
I
listen,
guess
Kevin.
more because of
I want you to hold that final thought. We're going to take a quick break and come back with the final
no problem.
score, the final word for the day.
All right.
So we're keeping Kevin for the final 60 because I want you to answer a question that we had on WhatsApp. The question was, why have you never represented the West Indies? What do you think you've never been given that opportunity in 30?
I can't honestly answer that question. I just knew that whenever I go on the field to represent Barbados, I will give up my best and perform at a high level and be as professional as possible. And all I could have done was to score runs and take wickets, and that's what I was doing through all of my career. I guess it wasn't set for me to play for West Indies, but I can hold my head up high and say that I did well to represent Barbados for over 14 years. So, yeah.
And well done. And well done. And I'll use the final 30 to tell you, our viewers, well, just a reminder for you that you have this weekend, you got your World Cup T20. That's happening this weekend, so you can look out for that. Of course, you can check out MCTV Sports, 308 ESPN for that, and also Radio 94.7 FM. So look out for all of the cricket, and of course, we'll update you on other things as we join you again next Friday for the next edition of Final Score. I'm Shane Seeley. Good night.